really quick before this episode begins. I've The lights are going out. That's always a good sign. Next week, we're not going to start the new show. We are going to have a new show, but it's going to be in 2 weeks. I've decided kind of last minute I want to take a little bit of a break. So in 2 weeks, we're going to start the next show. And here, towards the end of this episode of Frieren, I will be teasing what that is. So yeah, so we'll be back in 2 weeks for the beginning of the new anime here on Thursday. And in the meantime, I leave you with a dog who's just trying to sleep, and I keep filming him in these different videos.
Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Frieren. Last time around we had an era of humans, where basically it was time for the final test, which was an interview with Zeria. And Frieren went in and basically got exactly what she thought. Zeria failed her for not being the kind of mage that she wanted her to be, basically. I mean, that's oversimplifying it, obviously. Can't go into all the details right here, or else we're going to be here for a while, but you know what I mean. But the thing is, Frieren also knew that Zeria would pass Fern, and sure enough she did. She sees the true power that Fern has. So, yeah. Frieren failed, but Fern passed, which means we're headed north. So that'll be fun. At least we do get to go north. Meanwhile, Stark has been chilling, unfortunately listening to a bunch of old men that keep wandering up and spouting wisdom at him. So I think he's happy to get the two of them back now. He's ready to get out of this place. So yeah, that's pretty much where we left off. Yeah, like always, the reaction is down in the description and the pinned comment for your viewing pleasure. So let's just get into this, the final episode of this season of Frieren. I'm going to miss this show, but here we go. See, now I don't want to make a big deal about the fact that, like, that's so perfect. It's like, but I don't want to make a big deal out of the fact that the season is over and we're going to have to wait until next year for season 2. Because if I do this big show and dance, this big emotional thing with this season, it would be embarrassing when we watch again. So, that said, what a great fucking show, man. I will be honest. I understand why this has topped the anime rankings. Now, do I think it should? I don't know. I don't know if this should surpass Full Metal Alchemist. But we're not done. So, how far, so we're 28 episodes in. How much of that, comparatively, let me get a calculator. 64 divided by 28 is 2 2/7. Let's just say 2. So, we're about a third of the way into the runtime of Full Metal Alchemist. So, I guess there's a question, where were we at this point in Full Metal Alchemist? That's a great question. That won't help. That's a different YouTube account. Let me go to this one. Episode 28 was when we first were introduced to Father. Episode 28 was when we were first introduced to Father. And they fought Envy. Oh, that's right. That's after, spoiler-ish, when they were all swallowed into gluttony. And then that was about when we started learning about the Ishvalan Civil War. So, okay. Now, to be fair, Full Metal Alchemist was more of a contained story. From what I understand, the Frieren manga is actually still going on. It's just, I think from what I heard, it's on a hiatus right now. But I mean, all things considered, that's kind of comparable where we are right now. So, and that had a recap episode in that too. Episode 27 of Full Metal was a recap episode. We never got those in here, which is nice. Yeah, so I mean, okay. Basically, I'm overthinking this, but I will say this probably should be up there. You know, this should probably be up there as one of the greatest anime of all time. Again, I don't know if it surpasses Full Metal Alchemist, but we will see. We will see. It's very hard to pass Full Metal Alchemist because it is such an incredible anime, you know? I mean, because here's my other thing, is while I love Frieren, and I love this anime, I do also have another contender in my head for greatest anime, and that's Vinland Saga. So I don't know. See, I guess that's the next thing is, it's not even, for me, it's not even a question of does this surpass Full Metal Alchemist. It's also a question of does this surpass Vinland Saga? And I don't know, but this is a very comfortable, like, in the top 5, I think. Honestly. Like, what other anime have I reacted to? Because pretty much, like, most of the stuff that would be in a top 5 are probably stuff I've reacted to, and I went to the wrong account again. Good grief. I'd put this above Demon Slayer, definitely. And I love Demon Slayer, but I'd probably put it above Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is great, but it is a very simple story. Like, it's not trying to do anything super crazy. I mean, the animation is obviously crazy, but it's not trying to do anything crazy. It's just trying to tell a simple, good story, which it exceeds that. It's obviously above Jujutsu Kaisen. Fuck Jujutsu Kaisen. Better than Attack on Titan. Ooh, Mob Psycho. That's the other one. Yeah, that's the other one. I'd probably put this above Cowboy Bebop. And I like Cowboy Bebop, you know. But I'd put it above that. Obviously put it above My Hero, Attack on Titan, those stuff. But I'd put it above those. Put it above Chainsaw Man, stuff like that. But Mob Psycho, that's another tricky. So, if my top 5 anime have Full Metal Alchemist, and this is Brotherhood, obviously. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Vinland Saga, Mob Psycho 100, and Frieren. I don't know what number 5 would be. What would number 5 be? Would it be something... I had a list of this, actually. I had a list of, like, 7 anime for non-anime fans. Yeah, all the others that are in here I probably wouldn't put. Which, honestly, now, I'm going to be honest, this 7 anime for non-anime fans, I'm probably going to swap something out in this and put in Frieren instead. So, I don't know. I don't know what a number 5 would be. I mean, you could put, you know, a classic like Dragon Ball or something like that. Thing is, I would not hold Dragon Ball up as much as these other 4. So, and I love Dragon Ball, don't get me wrong, but I don't think it's as impactful as these 4 shows, you know. But yeah, at the very least, I would say Frieren makes the top 5 best anime in my book, at least. So you know how I said I wouldn't make a whole big, you know, song and dance about how much I love this show because it'd be embarrassing when we watched it again. Yeah, I guess I did that, didn't I? Oh, well. Well, now we've learned. Alright, so 6 of the 12 people passed. That's something. So, Fern, Denken, Ubel, Land, Virabel, and Methode, I believe is how they pronounce their name. Interesting. Very interesting. So, it's I like the whole thing with Denken where it's like, you thought about how to fight me. And he was like, is just for a moment, and then I realized, yeah, it's obviously not going to work. But it's not even a thing of like, oh, he's scared about it. Like, no, he just realized that'd be futile. And Virabel was kind of the same way, but that was good. Ubel, I love just immediately. She just looks at her and's like, "You're crazy. Pass. Get out of here, please." Like, of all of them, of the 6 that passed, Ubel is like the most different. She's just a crazy bitch. She's so crazy and it's just she's so crazy. I do like that though. There's something, and I feel like every guy watching this, and probably some girls too, like, I'm not gonna leave you out, but I a lot of people probably watching this probably look at Ubel and think, I don't know, you know what they say, never stick your dick in crazy, but in the few seconds before you are murdered in cold blood, it'd be really great, Oof. I don't know. And of course she's got the fucking, short skirt and the I don't even know how to, just shoulderless at the top of the dress and stuff, and it's just like, obviously she was specifically made by the author to be alluring, but she's also terrifying, so. And I mean, just that scene, was it 2 episodes ago, when she had the scissors, and she just, like, puts the scissors, just on the desk, and just runs it across there. It's just like, ugh. It's like she's like the world's scariest ASMR person. Like, everything about her is this sort of kind of quiet, it's like, she just, like, preys on your tingles, like, it's exactly that ASMR response, except that will probably end with a knife in your throat if you're not careful, good grief. Lund, I love that he never left his hometown. That's hilarious. That's really hilarious that he never left. And obviously, Zeria figured it out. Because if anyone would, it would either be Zeria or Frieren. Maybe Fern or Denkin, I don't know. But, like, the fact that she figured that out, it's like, how are you enjoying your tea? It just looks right at him from miles and miles away. He's just like, oh, interesting. But that was enough to pass him. And then Virabel was just like, it's like the perfect thing for her, he is exactly what she wants mages to be. Magic is a tool for killing. You do not like or dislike it. And so she just immediately was like, yep, you're good. You're exactly what I'm looking for. You're out. You're in. Methode, I don't even remember. Like, she said that she was adorable, but that was all I remember. Let me get back to it a bit real quick.
What did you think when you saw me? Well, I thought you were very small and very adorable. This year's test takers are a different breed altogether. You pass.
That's it. Which, hey, that's an original mindset. That's an original mindset where she was like, you know what? I haven't heard that one before. So, sure. Like, because that's basically, it's like, with everything she's heard, she's seen, their fear, basically, their fear of Hermana. She's heard all these different things. And then, Methode comes in here and is like, when I first saw you, I thought you were small and adorable. And it's like, if that's the first thing you think of when you see the strongest mage on Earth, okay, you're different enough. Pass. Get out of here. So, 6 people passed, including Fern, which means we're heading north. Hooray! Oh, boy. However, not only can Frieren not take the test again in 3 years, not that she needs to, she has Fern for that. She has Fern now, so she doesn't need to take the test. Not only that, she has been banned from these magical facilities for 1,000 years. You know, it's like when it's like if you're banned in a video game, like I don't know, for some online game, which I will be honest, I haven't been, but I've heard of it on YouTube. That makes it really sound like I have. I promise, I don't do online play really, so I have not heard that. But it reminds me, like there was a video where someone got banned for something on some game or whatever, and it was like he was basically banned until 2101. The year 2101, and this video, if I remember, this was like 15 years ago this video was made, and he was just like, man, just the idea that it's like, I'm not going to be around when I'm finally unbanned from that, you know? Like, that's nearly 100 years in the future, and I'm not going to be around to play this game again. And it's just like, there's something about that. But the funny thing is, where Frieren is banned for 1,000 years, she will still be alive in 1,000 years. She'll look exactly the same. So will Zeria, for that matter. And so, she has to wait 1,000 years. Which, we always hear about these different things of like, how long different things are to Frieren. So many things that seem long to humans. For her, it's just like, well, that wasn't very long ago then. 1,000 years is a long time even for her. If I were to guess, that probably feels more like either 10 or 100 years, Like, if the 10-year journey that she went on with the hero's party, if those 10 years felt like 1 year to her, then 1,000 years would feel like 100 years to her, I mean, put it into perspective, 1,000 years ago was Flama's time, I'm pretty sure. So, 1,000 years. Pretty much, if she had been banned back during Flama's time, she would have just now been unbanned. So, 1,000 years. 1,000 years she's been banned, and that's the thing. She knew that was going to happen. She knew that she had disappointed Zeria so much. Ugh. Good grief. Man, there's a lot to cover with this episode. We got Denkin's backstory. How he lost his wife in his 20s. It's so sad, and he's all this power that he has now, but he has it at the wrong time of his life, But I like how he says, Frieren, which is hilarious that it's because of the tests, It's because of the tests where he fought Frieren, He fought her with all of his power. And I like that he says that has reminded him that magic can be fun, And that's hilarious. Getting his ass beat by Frieren allowed him to have fun again. That's freaking hilarious. And then we heard from Wirabel. I did like that stuff. Basically just reinforcing one of the biggest things with this series is honestly being a hero and being like Himmel. The small stuff is important, That's why it took them 10 years to get to the Demon King and defeat him. Because they did all the small stuff. Because it is a combination of Himmel would always stop and help the small folk. Himmel would always stop and explore every dungeon as thoroughly as possible. And Frieren always woke up late. That's those three things, which are all to do with them. And maybe you could probably also put because Heiter was hungover half the time. All four of those things from three of them are why that took 10 years. The funny thing is, there seems to be nothing that Eisen did that slowed the journey down. It all seems to be the three of them, but Eisen never slowed anything down. So But the small stuff is important. And I like the framing of that, that it's like, for the older folks, all this small stuff, all these like favors, they talk about it with such reverence that Verabel as a child had for the big things that Himmel did, Like, if anything, yeah, it's like Verabel, his whole thing is he wants power to kill demons, He is exactly the kind of mage that Zeria wants, but even he understands the importance of being a hero, Zeria would not understand that stuff, And it's funny because both Denkin and Verabel talk about these things, about being a hero and about the fun of magic, and yet both of them were passed by Zeria, It's like they passed and then they went and said these things that she probably would not like. She would have hated that Himmel stopped for the small things, But Himmel didn't choose Zeria. He chose Frieren. And Frieren can get behind it, And he knew Frieren could get behind it because he witnessed it firsthand. Something small. A small thing to help a child feel better. He witnessed that firsthand. This is so great. And then there's Lernan. Lernan who tried to fight her. Which, I mean, I like that Stark didn't, immediately jump. He started to get between them a little bit when, after the blow was dealt, but before that, Stark didn't, hop up, didn't, when he threw the attack, Stark didn't jump in the way or anything. And I like that because, that Stark can look at it, even though he doesn't have any magic, he doesn't, fully understand how they do it, but he can probably just look at that and just be like, well, that's not going to hurt Frieren. I don't really need to jump in and risk myself getting hurt, So, although that would have also been funny if, as they were walking away, Frieren was like, thanks for jumping in front of that for me. Thanks for just letting me sit there and take that hit. And he's like, I thought you'd be fine. That'd be funny. I do love that it's like, it's time for them to leave, so Stark has to say goodbye to the whole village. It's like, I love that he helps them. When he's not drinking juice at midnight and sleeping till 5 PM, Stark is helping people. He's playing with the kids. He's helping people move stuff. Stark is a hero too. So great. But Lernan, he's born in the wrong era. He was not a mage of a peaceful time, but it has been peaceful for 80 years thanks to the Heroes Party, that's even just the thing, because it's like, recently, the whole thing with Verabel, he lost his home because it's like, the demons, started to go on the rise again after Himmel died. They waited for him to die. And we saw Himmel when he died. He was an old man, but we don't know, though. We don't know. Did he still have some moves left? Either way, the demons didn't take a chance. They waited until Himmel died. So, it reminds me in, I think season 2 of Castlevania, the Castlevania anime on Netflix, where, I think it was, Carmilla, where, that was her name, right? Yeah, Carmilla. Yeah, when she informs the Vampire Council that there is a Belmont alive, and they all kind of look at each other like, oh, it's like that same thing. It's like, a child will check under their bed at night to see if there's a demon. A demon will then check under their bed to see if Himmel is there, Which is hilarious. Because Frieren is exactly the same. That's such an interesting thing, too. It's like, demons are on the rise again now that Himmel's dead. And it's like, despite the fact that Frieren is still around, But Frieren is not actively defeating the demons, Himmel did. That was his whole goal, was to defeat the Demon King, which he did. You know, Frieren's goal is not that. If she encounters demons, she will kill them. But, oh boy. But yeah, but now we're off to the Northern Lands. I did like, well, first off, there's the spell that Fern got is a spell that cleans her clothes down to the stitches. I love that. You know the funny thing too, is that also like a play on down in the dungeon when Methode like gave Frieren the hug, and Frieren just like, oh, your clothes smell so nice, you know? And then Fern got a little jealous, you know? It's like, did she specifically get that so that they would appreciate how clean her clothes are? I don't know. But I like that it's just, and the cut to Zadia just being like, are you kidding me? But that's the spell that she wanted. That's the spell. We don't even know what everyone else got, you know? What did Denkin get? But that's the thing, is Denkin probably doesn't care about the spells, you know? He just wanted this so he could go see, you know, his wife's grave. That's all he wanted, you know? I'm sure, you know, Virabel and Landa Nubel and Methode all got, you know, very practical spells. Denkin probably doesn't care, and Fern got a spell that cleans. You know, the funny thing is, too, the fact that Zadia keeps those spells, you know? The fact that she keeps those spells, you know, she had the grimoire to give them, to give to Fern, just like, so you keep these around even though you don't like them, you know? Even though you find them useless, but hey, it'll make laundry all the easier, which is also probably good for Stark. I imagine of the three of them, his clothes get the worst because he's the most physical of the three of them. You know, he's sweating. He's probably sweating buckets into his clothes when he's working. So, in fact, I could probably see that being the other reason, is like she probably either Stark is terrible about washing his clothes, or because of that, she has to wash his clothes, and she's tired of washing his dirty friggin' training clothes. So now she has the spell to do it. I could totally see that. Anyway, that is the end of the season. Season 2 premieres in 2026, and I will be excited to watch that. But yeah, this was really great. I really, really enjoyed this season. Especially, you know, I mean, this is all great on its own, but the fact that I watched this immediately after I quit Jujutsu Kaisen was so nice. So, this was great. I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for Season 2. In the meantime, next week, we're keeping the medieval fantasy train chugging. So, next week, we're starting another medieval fantasy anime. Another one that's also pretty recent. We're just going to have a good time, enjoy some good meals. I think that's like the only thing I know about this anime, and you probably already figured it out from there. So, but that is basically it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around to any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Frieren reactions if you want to go rewatch Season 1, as well as another video on screen if you want to check that out. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.